You had almost a 500% ROI in that time, in the first 4 months of working with you guys. There's a lot of reasons of why that happens.
We realize that we're in a very, very saturated market. So if we want to grow, we got to invest the money in it. We went to from 1,500, 2,500 to 5,000. And then we just did that change recently. And this week, phone calls have been pouring in. Spend the money. And get a good mentor. Growth credit goes to us being partner.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of Dental Marketing Go. Today, I'm going to be talking with one of our clients, actually two of our clients. It's a female-owned dental practice, 2 dentists, 2 females, in a super hyper-competitive market who bought a practice from somebody because they couldn't figure out how to grow. This is such a good episode. And you're going to hear about how they're getting almost a 500% ROI, how they've grown their new patients by over 40% in just a couple months. And they're now seeing upwards of almost 70 new patients a month. And they did it in a way that most dentists just totally missed the mark on. And they figured out a lot of things along the way that helped them grow to get to where they want to go. And they have a very bright future. I'm so excited. Dr. Adina and Dr. Mac out of Katy, Texas. If you know anything about Katy, hyper competitive, has to be some of the top competition in the United States when it comes to dentists. And they have figured it out. They cracked the code, and they're going to share with you how they did that. And this is such a good episode. You will not regret watching this one. Also, midway through, they talked about phone scripting, and I actually have the phone scripting down for you below. If you want that, you can access it right down below. All right, stay tuned. I'm super excited to have this conversation. I mentioned to you guys a couple times already because, number one, you guys are in a hyper competitive market, stupid competitive. You guys are kind of crazy for even opening a dental practice there. But also, 2 ladies owning a practice together is I've never had to have a conversation like this. I know it exists out there, but it's just totally different. And I'm really excited to talk with you guys because you have figured out some growth stuff in the last 4 months that a lot of dentists just frankly never get to. And I want to go over that and how you did it because I think it'll help a lot of people. And what I want to look at is, number one, you've been able to grow your new patients by 42%, and it wasn't by accident. You guys were very intentional. So I want to talk about that. You had a 90% phone conversion. You had almost a 500% ROI in that time, in the first 4 months of working with you guys. And there's a lot of reasons of why that happened. So first of all, tell me why you guys chose to open a practice in Katy, Texas.
You're making us blush. I know. First of all, thank you, because I think we're so hard on ourselves and we don't see this growth. So we're super excited to be here. And we were surprised when you reached out, wait, we're doing that well. So it's great to hear the compliments. Keep on coming. So what made us open a practice in Katy? Well, we actually, I don't know if you know, we acquired this practice. It was I would say a very slow dripping faucet, droplets. The previous owner had opened this practice, I think 2021, and just wasn't doing well, was struggling. So she decided to sell the practice. It fell on our laps. We got really lucky because it was basically 2 or 3 years old, barely used, brand new, and being sold for half the cost of building it out now.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was great.
Why did they have to sell the practice? Was it because they just couldn't figure out how to get new patients? Is that what?
Yeah, it was a loss for her. I think she was producing $200,000 a year. It was just a lot of business. Not understanding business, not understanding insurance, not understanding how to verify insurance, collections, AR, everything was too much. I think it's easy to be a dentist, but it's harder to run the practice.
Got it. And then why did you guys decide to go into business with each other? Why did you decide to start together?
She dragged me into it. Yeah, it was my fault.
You're going to start a business with me in Katy, Texas, and you're going to love it.
Literally my fault. So I was so happy as an associate. She didn't want this life. But she's so good at the numbers.
Oh, she's good at the numbers?
Oh, she's so good at the numbers. And so I'm really heavy clinical. And I'll understand that you could be a great clinical dentist and still not know how to run a business, and vice versa. You can run a business great, but if you're not a good clinical dentist, you're referring out a lot. So it was a great match. I saw it years ago. So we actually met in dental school. We sat next to each other for 4 years in dental school and became really good friends. And post-grad, went to 2 very different places, worked in different cultures. And then I was ready to start a practice and I really wanted a partner. And just having someone who I know I can trust and just say whatever I need to without offending her. So it's great.
Yeah.
That's all true?
Yeah. I'm like making her say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, twisting your arm.
The transparency is really good. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are able to communicate clearly. That's huge. Like you can't buy that. You can't fake it. And you guys knew each other beforehand. So that's huge. So let's first of all go back to that old practice, right? So they couldn't figure out how to get new patients. They couldn't figure out how to grow. So you guys came in, you've owned the practice for a while now, and you're starting to see your higher months, which we talked about, upwards of almost 70 new patients, which is, and 30 of those are coming from patient referrals. So let's first talk about, like, on the marketing side, what did you have to do to actually start making your marketing work?
Mm-hmm. So when we first bought the practice, we were very cautious about spending on marketing. And we were always told, oh, you should be in this percentage for marketing, this, that. And then, we started joining coaching groups and talking to other dentists. And we realized that we're in a very, very saturated market. So if we want to grow, we got to invest the money in it. So I think back at when we joined you guys, that's when we were like, okay, we can try all these marketing companies and things like that, but let's just really hit the ground hard. So we decided to double our marketing spend in Google and with guys. And
you went from, you're spending about 3,000 before, and you went to about 7,000, right?
We went to like 1,500, from 1,500, 2,500 to like 5,000. And then now we've bumped it up to 7,000 a month. Yeah. And then we just did that change recently. And this week, phone calls have been pouring in. And we've already seen like 23 new patients in like 9 days.
Which is insane. For you, that's, for the office where you guys were before, that is insane. And then it's a lot of dentists hear this, because dentists are, when it comes to numbers, they're like, they're bottom line thinkers typically, because meaning, well, if I'm spending this much money, this is, money that I'm not taking home. But the other way to think about it is like, well, what if you're getting a 500% ROI? So if you're spending $7,000, but you're getting back, $40,000, like, if I made a machine like that every time you put $1 in, you get $5 back or $6 back, the question is how many dollars can I put into that? And so you guys figured that out and you made it work, but that wasn't the only component. You also got your team, you guys are converting at 90%. So pre-COVID, people used to do that. Post-COVID, like, it just doesn't happen. And I kind of joked with you guys off the air. I was like, are you guys like threatening or hitting your team members or something? You know what I mean? But I know the state of Texas frowns on that. So how are you guys doing that? Like, how do you get your team to answer the phone and then actually make sure that the patients get scheduled?
A lot of scripts, a lot of training, a lot of verbiage, and then a lot of feedback. So Dr. Mac made a good point. Our office as dentists is right outside the front desk area. So we hear stuff. But on top of that, Dr. Mac listens to the phone calls, the recordings regularly, and gives them constructive feedback, has them come in and kind of evaluate themselves, not just on verbiage, though, also energy. We're huge on energy and the way you sound on the phone and how friendly you sound. And, you want patients who want to come see us.
Yeah, go ahead, Dr. Mac.
Actually, most of our staff, you'd be surprised. One of the girls in the family, she came from a coffee shop, had no experience in dentistry. So we hire for communication skills and personality. And they know that the interview, we're like, okay, if you can talk, great. I can't teach you that, but I can teach you the skills. So we've gone through a lot of front desk to, plug in the correct people in the right spot. So I think another thing is as simple as just being present. Like Dr. Arain and I are always present in the office, even just not even when we're at the office, we're present. We're engaged, we're invested, and we're not just like leaving it in their hand.
Awesome. I'll leave the scripting. This is for the audience listening. If you guys want the scripting that they're using, because I've listened to your phone calls too, it's right down below. We'll include that for you. So that way other people can train their team. But I will call out, just giving people scripting doesn't work. It will fix it for a little bit, but it'll just go right back to normal. You guys have figured out the secret sauce, which is getting ownership. And how you get ownership is it's just like football or basketball. If you go and watch the film with the whole team and say, hey, you were out of position on defense there. What can we do to make sure that doesn't happen again? The person naturally doesn't want to be in that position, right? They want to make you happy. They want to make the coach happy. So you guys have figured that out with your team. It's so stinking good. I cannot stress this enough. Like, you have that one thing is unlocking so many more new patients coming through your door. If that wasn't there, if you were an average office, you would be at 50%. And this is why most marketing just doesn't work, especially in saturated markets. Now, the other thing that you guys, go ahead. You got a comment on that?
Well, one of the other front desks we have, she came from a complete different practice. Like she has experience in dentistry, out of network practice. We don't chase patients. Patients hang up or patient schedule, we don't chase back. We don't call back.
And that's what she said?
Yeah. That was their mentality. So
that comes from dentists. Dentists train that into their team. It's like, I wouldn't be in business. Like no business can survive that way.
That's customer service. Like we're really, really big on customer service.
Yeah, which is basic, right? Basic business. But again, when we have this mentality like, oh, they're a shopper, they asked how much an implant is. It's like, no, they want to buy from you. When you guys came to work with us, you guys were like, how much do I need to spend? That's a buying question, right? And it's just like in dentistry, we get things backwards so often. So you guys have figured that out. That's amazing. Now, the other thing that you guys do that is exceptional, that's making everything work, is your average time to appointment is 7 days. And it's like, on face value, that doesn't seem like a big deal, but the industry average is like almost 30 days. We're at like 28 days, floating up into 31 days. So how did you do that? Like, how do you make room for patients to come in right away?
We were just talking about this. Go ahead.
Well, initially when we were a lot slower and like, the schedules were empty, we told the girl, put them anywhere. Put the new patient anywhere.
Like, get them in, don't they go?
And so we spent ample time with patients and we still try to. Like the new patient experience is very important to us. And that's what we've been going back and forth about, that we have a hygienist now and we're getting to a point where I had to play hygiene yesterday. So it's kind of like, all right, we got to find the perfect balance to give that patient that experience. They're only going to come back if you give them a solid new patient experience.
We have certain blockouts in the day that we reserve for new patients. And what we have been doing is if those new patients off get booked, which has been a great problem over the last couple of days, her and I, Dr. Mack and I will go and add extra blockouts for online scheduling. And yesterday we had our new patient slot taken for the afternoon. We just added one extra one and it got taken. Booked online, coming tomorrow for treatment. So we try to have availability on the schedule. Second thing is you can't assume their team knows. The team took a lot of time for them to understand that within 48 hours, if there is a treatment room open and no treatment scheduled, and we have a lot of space, get a new patient in. If a new patient calls, just because you don't have a new patient slot open, when can you override that? And it takes a lot of like hand holding and training for them to understand.
Because they don't want to disappoint you. It's not your team. It's not your team's fault. You created rules to the game and said, put patients here, and then there's no space. So what do you expect them to do? The other thing that I think that you guys figured out, I don't know if you figured it out or not, but most front desk have no incentive to book more new patients and double book and those things. In fact, it's just extra work for them. So they would rather push new patients out. Like that's their incentive. But what you guys have figured out is we're reviewing the calls. So if someone pushes someone out a week, it's instantly flagged. And then so your team just doesn't do that.
Mm-hmm. I think it's the constant checking in that we do with them. Like we constantly check in with them that like, why isn't the schedule filled? How can we get the hygiene schedule filled? Like it's something we talk about in every single huddle.
And not like blaming them. There's a difference between like, hey, you need to do this versus they're in the front and they're in the trenches. So we ask, what do you think is going to work? What has worked well or what has not? And sometimes it takes a team discussion. Some things we don't take, but some things we actually learn from them. Mm-hmm. We've had our front desk come up with really good ideas on how to get conversions and it's worked.
That's awesome.
Example is like we're out of North Delta. Sorry. There's a lot of Delta in this area. And initially we used to charge them full fees up front to be able to see them. But our front desk was like, why don't we just charge them the cash special and just bill that to insurance? And I'm like, that's brilliant. Why don't we think of that? The cash station in December, we got some Deltas in for $99.
That's a big thing in Katy because a lot of dentists are dropping Delta.
Yep. Everybody's dropping Delta. It's paying in most states, it's paying below like what Medicaid and a lot of the state insurances are paying. So yeah, everybody's in the process of that. And you can still figure it out though, because the patients don't understand that, right? They don't know what's going on. Mm. So let's talk about that $99 because this absolutely triggers dentists. Like if I want to go online right now and get hundreds of comments on Facebook, all I have to do is just go, what do you guys think of a $99 or $59 cleaning? And people, they lose their brain, right? So it's like, what do you think we are? Like McDonald's or something? You know what I mean? So why'd you guys end up doing that? And what do you think of it now versus before?
So initially when the idea came through, we're like, okay, sure, we don't mind because we're doing a $49 limited exam, $69 for full exam. We do free stuff all the time. Like between the two of us, we do free stuff all the time. And that's okay. Like it's all about giving back. Sometimes we'll see a patient and we get back. That's fine. But when it came to like numbers, because people will argue, well, your hygiene needs to produce 3 times, but you're paying them, blah, blah, blah. So we do the exam for $0 and we just put the 99 on the proof. That way the hygiene makes production, and to us, it makes us feel better that our hygiene is making 2 times, a little bit of right in 2 times, but we're being done. Okay. So it works well.
The other thing is just getting them in. We need to get them in. So biggest thing is, I know we have a solid team. We are great when we communicate with patients. We know how to educate them. The biggest thing is education. So as long as that patient is able to come in on a $99 special, we can educate them on why they might need the FRP, or they might need gingival scale or something more, why they need those cavities filled. That whole experience that Dr. Mark was talking about, that new patient experience is gold. And that's the value. The value is not on that first appointment. The value is in 2 things: them getting treatment and them referring others. So it's not even just how much was this patient's lifetime like ROI. It's how much was the lifetime ROI of them and everyone else they brought in.
Yes. So there's a concept that I learned a long time ago. It's called 100% case acceptance. And so dentists, a lot of times I'll talk with them and they'll be like, well, I don't want to charge $99 for a cleaning. I want to charge $299. And I'm like, okay, well, what is that going to do to your numbers? That extra $200? It's almost nothing, right? In the big, like from a percentage standpoint, it's like a bloop. So it's not a big deal from a dollar standpoint. But the part that people miss is the concept of 100% case acceptance is if you get the patient in the door, and they recare, even if they don't buy treatment, if they just keep recaring, you will eventually get 100% of all dental treatment that they ever need for their whole life, plus patient referrals from them. Or if you don't get them in the door because they don't, the extra $100 that you wanted to make on your cleaning or whatever, or they come in and they don't recare, you get 0% of all the treatment for the rest of their life, plus none of the referrals. So it really is an all or nothing game. And so I always tell people, like, just figure out the top, how to get them in it first, and then dial it in and change it and you can play with it. But if you haven't figured out the top part, you haven't figured out the game yet, because you can't get to the value down below.
I think the biggest goal we've had, or like the biggest change we've had the last few months, is just keep it simple. We've been trying to simplify our systems, because we were just like, why did we overcomplicate things? Like, why did we have XYZ process? Just keep it simple, right? Bring them in.
Dentists are smart. You guys start optimizing for problems that don't exist yet.
And I'm also even considering like bringing in Delta patients for preventative without a card up front, without 99, because I looked at the EOBs and we do get more than 99 if you combine everything together.
Yeah, I mean, that's just business, right? Super smart. And then so how do you get the patients to accept treatment? So that's the next big thing, is like, I think, I'm going to guess you guys are both super personable. You're nice. You're very inviting, right? Like, so I'm like, I'll buy treatment from you. You know what I mean? But what else are you guys doing that's getting these patients, once they get in, to be like, to trust you and to actually want to buy treatment from you?
I think just being friendly, to be honest, the experience and the whole team, like everyone that comes in there, always like, your staff is so nice. Like we get so many compliments by our staff. So like I said, when you go back to the interview process, it's all about, can you talk to people, and, how's your personality?
It's education too. So making sure that they understand the why. We're big on the why behind why we answer the phone a certain way, the why behind why a certain treatment are recommended for that, the why behind everything within our team, but also the patient needs to understand the why. Why do you do this? Why should you invest in this? Why am I on your side? Another big thing that our front desk uses, which I love, is they always tell the patient, I'm your patient advocate. We are on your side. We are not this image of like dentists or mechanics that are trying to, get money. And it's like, that's just not true. That another reason why the $49 limited exam, or now we're doing 3 limited exams, and the $99 coupon works is because from day one, I'm not trying to collect a ridiculous amount on you.
Yeah, because from the patient's point of view, why do I have to give you $400 for you to tell me what's going on? Like, that's how they, now I know it's like you went to dental school and you have business bills and all these things, right? I understand why, but the patient doesn't understand why. And so you've broken down that wall. And then I think the nature of how competitive it is in your guys' market kind of forced you to go down that road a little bit faster, because it's like, stink, we got to figure this out. Yeah, go ahead, Dr. Mac.
I think another thing that really helps is being educated in your billing and insurance as a doctor. It's so important to know that.
So this is the number thing that you're good at, right?
Dude, like just simple rules about insurance that a lot of doctors don't know, and there's a lot of patients that we have convinced to drop their insurance or talk to their HR and change their insurance. Like I'm talking about like Delta that came in, we knew that it was a federal plan and we knew we're a network with one federal plan. Guess what we did? We got that guy to switch over to the one we're in network. And as a family of 4.
But that's also because it was like, I want you guys, like the patient, once you're part of the family, because that's what it is, they will do what it's come and continue seeing you as a provider.
That's so good. Okay, so another thing that you guys have figured out is you're seeing around 30 patient referrals a month. So patients that told other patients to come in. And you guys have done 2 things to really like ramp that up. And we were talking about it before we hit record. You do a lot of things with businesses, local businesses, and then you also do a lot of things with, you said that you do patient referral, different things in the office. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
So we have an internal referral program. Every patient that comes in, if they refer another patient to us, they are automatically mailed a handwritten thank you note from us and a $5 gift card to a coffee shop. It's a local coffee shop that we've partnered with, and it's great because I was begging to meet the owner for so long, and then finally he got back to me, and we made a really good deal. We buy a certain number of gift cards from him, and he gives us the same amount more free. So we're getting a good trade-off. It's an easy $5 gift card per patient. And yes, to the dentist listening, this patient might have come in on a $99 coupon. And guess what? We just paid them back $5 if they had someone else in. Because if they sent someone else in, they probably came back for treatment because they like us, or they will. But whoever they send in, what is their ROI? So there's so much that goes into it. You have to think big. That's one aspect. And then the second thing we do is the local events. So we go to a lot of like little daycares for their Easter events, their trunk or treat. We've partnered with like a F45 nearby for their golf tournament. We sponsor them. We do health fairs. We try to do the same events again and again, or in the same school or venue again and again. So it's professions and trying to build our brand so people know a premium health studio.
That's awesome. What's your guys' goal for the future? Like, where do you want to take this?
The sky's the limit. I mean, we want to honestly double the production that we did last year.
Yeah.
And we're pushing towards it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we want to do less clinical days.
Yeah. So personal goals, what I do with clinical days, and build a beast of a practice. We don't have multiple practices. We want one very good, high volume practice. We set goals in December. It's so funny because we set an annual production goal in December, and we're sitting in March, and our accountant actually like texted us and was like, y'all are going to hit it. Like y'all are going to, and I was like, this is crazy, to have him say that. It does. So long-term goal is just to see, how far we can take this and grow it and build employment opportunities for others, train others, grow dentistry, hire staff, and have like a beautiful practice.
Now, I know it hasn't been easy, right? So, and I know there's probably been like scary times. So this will be the last question. What would you say to dentists out there that are in that struggle zone? Because every business owner goes through this. They're in that struggle zone and they're just like, this is stupid. Why'd I get into dental? I'm going to quit. I'm going to go be an associate somewhere. And I have all this debt and all these kind of things. Before you started this hyper growth that you guys are on, and now you kind of see the sun shine and it's like exciting now, what would you say to that person that's kind of stuck in that zone?
Spend the money.
And get a good mentor. Like I think that a lot of credit the growth credit goes to us being partners. Like I know we started this podcast off by saying 2 women in dentistry working together. When you're alone, dentistry is very isolated. If you're the one that's making all the decisions, clinically back, patient, the teeth lines are in your hands, the staff is in everything's in your hands. But one thing that we are very lucky in the sense that we have each other to encourage each other. So we're scared, like, how do we find more marketing? Just talking to each other about it and like really sitting down and focusing on what is our goal? How are we going to get there? Is it realistic to get there by doing X, Y, Z? And if not, something's going to get right. If what we're doing doesn't work, something's got to change. Sometimes you just need to talk to someone.
I think it's also like, be afraid to ask questions. Mm-hmm. So if you see a dentist that's doing well, or you see someone that you're like, I wonder how they're doing, ask that. You'd be surprised that people are really doing.
People love to share about themselves and how they figured it out.
Yeah. And like, how did we do this? Dr. Hamlin, what about me? You just ask. I was just asked.
And I already know Dr. Hamlin, he's always just like, spend more money. That's why I laughed so hard when you said that. I was like, dude, you've been hanging out with Dr. Blake too much.
Okay, what did you do to turn around? I said, I just spent more money. He's like, so you're telling me I wasn't crazy when we met in November? And I was like, no, not at all. Just a little bit. It's just enough crazy.
Because they were like, what? You're telling us to spend more? But again, you have to talk to someone who's in the same boat as you, who's done it, and really ask them, what did you do? And pick their brain.
Yeah. I think you just have to move out of your comfort zone. Because when you get comfortable, there is not enough growth.
Mm-hmm. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. Yeah.
It's so good. This was really good. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you, Gary.
Yeah, thank you.